Keith, you have a theory about the Rangers starting lineup, what they need to do to win the title, I guess. Elaborate.
Yeah. And it's fairly simple. They need to drop Youssef Chermiti. Now, Mick's talking there about the system, and it's not maybe suiting the wider players. I think he's absolutely right. Now, I'm curious to discover, and I think we're about to discover, we certainly will do over the next few weeks, has Danny Rowe locked himself into the sort of John Barnes formation, 4-2-2-2? It seems as if he has. It seems as if he's fully committed to it. It seems as if this is the vision that he had in mind, but he has always said that he will be flexible. It does look like that's his preferred lineup for the time being. But I'm looking at it, and I don't think Chermiti is a natural goal scorer, and he's the number 9 in this formation. And it's basically rendered Ryan Nadere as a hybrid. He's half midfielder, half striker, and he's running about and covering loads of grass, and he's putting a tremendous shift in. But to me, when you first got a glimpse at him, he looks like a far more natural predator. He's got those instincts. His runs are better into the penalty box in terms of where to be at the right time. He just looks as if it comes more naturally to him. But he's spending all his time out of the box in different areas, covering, for example, if Cal McGregor's sitting in the anchor at Celtic's midfield, Naderi's responsibility is stop it, get to him, cover him, run there, do this. I think if Rangers really simplify this, because Chermiti's not going to score you goals. He scored 9 this season so far, 8 of them in the games against Celtic and Rangers. So maybe you do bring him back in for those. But see, for the rest of the time, I think Naderi deserves the opportunity to show what he could do as the main striker. And I think by leaving him in that hybrid position just now, what they're also doing is sacrificing a really good creative player and potentially in a more advanced area. So for me, I would give a long, hard thought to dropping Chermiti, playing Naderi as the number 9, letting him concentrate on doing the penalty box stuff, and then maybe getting Nico Raskin and saying to him, Nico, you might think you're a number 6, but I'm telling you now, you're better, far more productive 20, 30 yards up the pitch. He's got the ability now to bring in Connor Barron to play alongside Chukwueze in the centre of midfield. I would be saying to Nico Raskin, you get further forward, you get joined in, play in and around Naderi and try and get beyond him, because that's where Raskin, for me, does all his best work. Now, I think if you made those slight changes, also then your wingers are more like wingers. Mikey Moore could play just about anywhere you want. You know, you could ask him to play anywhere along that line and he'll be able to do a job for you. You might get more out of Skov Olsen if he's, just more of a traditional, authentic winger than asking him to come inside. I just think the Rangers would have a much better balance to them. And I think by removing Naderi from this position where he's doing all the running about and he's doing a lot of leg work and a lot of good hard shift for the team, but he's not doing what a striker needs to do, which is concentrating on making those runs into the box at the right time to get in the end of things and score goals. I think they've blunted him a little bit, and I think he looks far more likely to contribute with goals than Chermiti, even though to this point he's only scored 2 for Rangers and they were both against Queen's Park. So if you look at the stats, maybe that's an argument against what I'm saying. But I do feel if you give him that opportunity, I think you've got a better chance of a return than Rangers do at Chermiti. I think that could be key.
For me, it's a big gamble hanging your hat on Naderi to be the main man up front when he's only scored 2 goals against Queen's Park. So now you're going to rely on him to be your main goal getter when you don't.
I totally get that, mate.
There's no body of work to suggest that he's capable of doing that yet. He might well be.
I look at his natural instincts and the natural runs when he does on the rare occasions right now that he is getting into the penalty box. He looks to me.
Rangers had 20 plus attempts in goal at the weekend against the Mirren and 8 on target. Did they look like scoring? Really? That much? No. He's there.
And it took a full back to score the goal.
And that's with 2 strikers up front as well. So I think.
But he's not playing up front, Mick. That's my thing.
Well, I think I take your point. I think Danny Rowe is very pragmatic and I think he does look at what he's got, and I think he worries. You mentioned Raskin and playing further up. Has Raskin got the creativity in that to play that 8-10 role? I'm not sure, because he gives the ball away an awful lot. I think he's a cracking wee player, but he does give the ball away a lot in that position as well. And I think you look at the players in that area, I don't think Roll trusts them to build the game and pass through that phase. I think that's why he goes so long. And I joked before about him playing like 87. Maybe that's because he doesn't trust the midfield players to do that kind of role. Because there is a distinct lack of creativity coming through the middle of the park for Rangers.
They're just trying to bulldoze teams, Mick. They're trying to bulldoze teams.
They get the ball up very direct. There's a few things happening. I don't think they trust the midfield players to build and create. Apart from Mikey Moore, when he can come inside and do a bit of that. I don't think he trusts his centre backs to build the ball out either. I think he likes them defending. He wants them getting the ball as long away as far as possible. So they end up going very, very long. Balls are dropping. They'll swarm teams and pick up the loose ends. So Grass is great at picking up scraps. That's his best. I think he's great at picking pockets, winning balls, and getting scraps, and getting it elsewhere. The problem for Rangers is where it goes and who's creating. There's not enough creativity. So they're just trying to overwhelm teams with pressure and getting balls and playing the game in the final third. And by and large, it's worked for them. But when you're playing against teams that are doing this kind of sitting deep, low block, whatever you want to call it, there's not a lot of space to operate in those. And by the way, Celtic done it as well. Celtic realised that they weren't going to control the middle of the park anyway, because the ball, plus the midfield was getting bypassed, and they just sat in and soaked it up. So where's the creators for Rangers? That's the thing. Where's the creators? And the strikers are the ones carrying the can for missing chances and not scoring goals. But are they getting that many gilt-edged chances? I mean,
that's what I'm saying. I think that right now, as the way that he's got this formation with the 4-2-2-2, I think that Naderi is in the position that you would want a more creative player to be in. And I think if you swap him out, maybe it's Mikey Moore drifts in or whoever, but you allow him to be the penalty box guy, I think they might there'll be a better balance to them. Because for all that he's prepared to run about and put in a shift and chase people down and win the ball back, I don't think. I think just by having the two big battering rams, there's a sort of a tendency to think that's the ball, long ball, high, long ball. Whereas I think if Rangers try to play a little bit more, they might get more joy out of it. I don't know.